been a little while.
I know.
The last time we did this, I think we went on a field trip.
We did.
I did love that field trip, but I love this. I love our new space. It's great.
Our new
It's
studio.
more intimate. Yeah.
And the AC is working, so you're not glistening.
Oh my gosh. Thank God. You can, especially it's been so hot. It's been just horribly hot recently.
Yeah.
Although I'll take that any day over
Super cold.
super cold. I can handle that. Like the time we went and saw snow in Tallahassee, which, I wonder if we'll get to do that again. But so what's been going on?
The Farmer's Almanac, I read that. I love the Farmer's Almanac.
Yes.
Did say it was going to be an unseasonably cold year this year. So we'll see if it's right. Because
There better be snow, because that's the only way to make that any
I
better.
read the Crazy Farmer's
I
Almanac.
know, I love that about you. It's so funny.
Best day to dig a hole. You never know when that might come in handy.
But why? But why would you need to know the best?
Because you won't have enough dirt to fill the hole back in. And I've done that.
Learn something new every day.
You know. And you never know when you might need to dig a hole and have enough dirt filled back in.
Yeah.
That's important stuff.
It is. Yeah. I'm excited today to talk to Nicole Campbell.
I am.
I remember her when she worked at Michael's, and she's just amazing. Her journey, her story, everything about it.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to talk to her.
I am too.
Welcome to the Style Podcast, presented by Plaza Cadillac and Plaza Lincoln, where our drive to be the best starts with you.
Welcome to the Style Podcast. We'd like to thank our presenting sponsors, Plaza Cadillac and Plaza Lincoln. Today, we are very excited to have our September cover girl and cancer survivor, Nicole Campbell, join us. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute honor to share my story.
We're going to jump right in today because we think you have a fantastic story that it's very important for you to tell. We hate that you've had to go through this, but it's important. It's important. So
It is important. I was diagnosed in 2020 at the age of 39 years old. I thought I was very healthy. I went to the gym, I worked out, I ate well. So for me to find a lump and it turn into breast cancer was super alarming. On top of every other issue that was going on in 2020, that's when it started for me and my journey, So, sorry.
you're fine.
No,
You're fine.
No, I think it makes it more real because it is. Because I told you before we started, because I'll tear up thinking about it. Mm-hmm. And it marks 2 years next week that we lost one of our best friends. It was to colon cancer.
Yes.
But it's the...
Lori Grizzard.
Yes.
Yeah.
And same thing, healthy, played tennis, did all these things, very active, and such an amazing human. And so when something like that happens to you or to someone you love, it's like this, it almost knocks the wind out of you.
Right. And so then the question goes into what advice was she being given during that time? And, a lot of my journey when I started going through breast cancer, a lot of it was, you've got to do chemo right now. I was such an early stage cancer, so early, right? So my initial thought was, let's just take it away. Let's just take it away. Surgery right now, double mastectomy, let's just do this and then we'll go from there. And, even when I presented that to the oncologist, he was like, yeah, sure, we'll do that. We even high-fived as I walked out the door. And instead of sending me down to check out and let's schedule the surgery, go from there, that would have been the start of my journey would have been an easier start, right? Instead, they send you down the hall to go speak to somebody else who likes to tell you that if you don't do the chemo, that your chances of survival are not good. They start to instill the fear in your heart that the cancer is going to spread if you don't do something now. We need to get this going right now. So it just went from okay, I feel really good about this. We're going to beat this. This is curable to, no, you need to do chemotherapy. This is what's going on. And I think in my heart and what I believe and what I tell a lot of people, had I gone down that route, I wouldn't be here today. It doesn't stop the cancer.
It doesn't. No, and there's actually studies out there, scientific studies that a lot of people don't ever want to acknowledge, or they'll call me a conspiracy theorist, but their survival might be short term, but typically heavy doses of chemo like that
Sure.
come back, you can't within a certain amount of time, and a short amount of time, they have cancer again. So
Absolutely.
it begs the question, what's in the chemotherapy?
Exactly. So what happens is they're not correcting the metabolic dysfunction that's going on in the body that's creating the cancer. So what I have learned is cancer is simply a symptom of something that's going wrong in the body.
Yes.
So if you don't correct what's going wrong in the body, the cancer can come back. It doesn't matter what you go through. And chemo just weakens the system so that way your body can't combat it. And sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to know, like, where in your journey, like when you got your high five and you were walking out with your plan, did you say, wait a minute,
Whoa, yeah.
I have to do what I know is right for me? Like, when did it really hit you?
Really great question, because that was when you think about going through like a cancer diagnosis in the very beginning, it's like a roller coaster. Like you're kind of up, things are going good, and then all of a sudden something will come back and like, woo, you just don't know which way it's going to go. And so for me, that sent me in a tailspin for 3 weeks because I was just like, man, I didn't feel like I had control over what was going on, and I wasn't educated in what was going on with my body in the first place. And if I presented a question, it really wasn't answered properly. And never once did they ever ask me, and this is probably a separate issue, but never once was it, okay, well, what are you eating? What is your diet like? What's your lifestyle like? Gut health, are you going to the bathroom? Things like that, like things that is your body working properly, right? So there's a lot of things that were going on in my body that led up to that were like red flags. But back to the question was in that 3 weeks, it was, they just pushed me like to the point where the surgeon wouldn't even talk to me. Like he was like, no, you have to do the chemo. You have to do the chemo. Like they were just trying to push me through the chemo, like for the 3 weeks. And then finally, I gave up. My hands were up. I said, okay. I was so beat up at that point. Like, let's just get this going. Like, we need to get this done. I need to move on with my life. And I was working with a surgeon in Tavares, and he had a nurse, and she's super special. Miss Laura. And I remember she called me up and she's like, okay, Nicole, she's like, I think I was getting my port placed that next day. And she says, okay, well, they're going to pull lymph nodes at the surgery. And I said, Miss Laura, if they're going to cut me and take anything out, they might as well take the breast. And she's like, is that what you want? And I said, yes, that's what I've always wanted from the very beginning. Well, have you talked to your doctor about it? And I was like, you know what? I want surgery first. I had to fight for 3 long weeks for that. Like, I had to fight for that. I don't know where that came from. I can't explain it. All I knew is that that's what I knew to do. And I think in a way, like, our bodies just know how to heal, but you're just so beat down by the system.
Of course they do. I think that's my thing too, and it goes back to what you said. Not one time did anyone ask you what your diet was. Not one time did they say, these are the foods that are better for you. So many times, and I've had friends tell me this, that they're reps for, pharma and stuff, and they'll go in and you'll go into an oncology office and there's donuts and I'm like, okay, but what we have determined, they're now finding that sugar is actually a culprit of so much. And I love sugar, but it is. Even things that you once thought were, so related to maybe fatty foods and things. No. It's the sugar.
Right.
It feeds things.
It does. It does feed things. And not one time were they, and he did express to maybe like take meat out of my diet and, things like that. But it was never like, okay, this is what's going on and you need to go to a whole food diet. Like you have to go down to your basics. And I think once you do that and you get away from the processed foods, like something starts to happen. So a lot of us weren't told that. So even after the surgery, and I was granted that surgery and I'm so thankful for that. But they had to go to like a meeting to like talk about my circumstances and grant it. So when I talked to Mrs. Laura and I told her what I wanted and I presented it to my doctor, and, I just prayed about it. I said, you know what, Lord, if this is meant to be, this is how things are going to work out. And it's going to work out in such a way that the next morning I got a phone call from Laura and she's like, I just want to congratulate you for standing up for yourself. She says all the doctors have met and you are going to get your surgery. And not only that, you're going to get reconstructive surgery on top of that. They took 1 month off of my chemo regimen. Radiation came off the table. Like all of these things, just like you couldn't make it up. Like it just happened. And I was like, man, you know.
All because you were brave enough to stand up for yourself and say, I want to take charge of my health. Not because you're a medical professional and but you know what your body's telling you.
Right, right. So, you know, that was just like a big turning point in my journey, you know, because at the time you can't think straight.
No.
You're not like thinking straight
And you
at
think
all.
that people that are giving you the advice, because they did go to medical school, granted they did, but science, things change. We learn more every single day.
Every single day.
And I think when you see that instances of cancer have skyrocketed in our lifetime, you know, it's crazy. I even argue with Lori about this. Sunscreen.
Yes.
We're so adamant. I have a
Yes.
redheaded sister, my redheaded best friend. We're so adamant we're going to coat ourselves in sunscreen,
Sure.
but we don't pay attention to the ingredients. And they're like, oh, the sun. And I can
Sure.
tell you, in my you know, family with my sisters and my parents, out of all 5 of us, the only one that's ever had skin cancer removed is my redheaded sister. It's not because of sunburn. I go back to it. She coats herself from head to toe.
Sure.
I'm like, that's fine to wear sunscreen, but what kind are you putting on?
Exactly.
If you can't pronounce the ingredients, it's not something that you want
Exactly.
on the largest organ you have.
Exactly. So then it's what are you putting on your body? You know, like that's so scary because the sun is a natural healer.
It is.
It's a grower.
I
Too
like
much of
her.
it.
I really like her. But it is. It's true. You know, back in the day, they would take people in hospitals
Sit outside.
and sit outside so
So-
that you could be exposed to the sun for
Exactly.
healing.
So red light therapy is another one of my things that I love to do, but just going outside for like 10 to 15 minutes a day and just soaking up those early rays of the sun is so important to our cells because what it comes down to is your cellular health. It's not so much, you know, like how are your cells thriving? Well, they need sunlight, they need nutrition, and they need good water. So there's movement. So there's all kinds of things that work well together. But yeah, I'm a believer in the sun being a healer for sure. Too much of it though could be
Can be
bad.
anything,
but
you know, can-
anything.
yeah.
So all in moderation. And then I know that. So by my second treatment is when my hair started to come out. And I'm sitting there and I was like, dang, it's time. And I actually cut my hair to, so it was already super short before my chemotherapy. Because I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this my way, then I'm going to take my hair first. Like the treatment's not going to take my hair. You know, I called the shots, right? Because you only have like so much power over so many things. And so I was sitting there, okay, after the second treatment, I'm literally driving home, the window's down, and you can just see the hair going out the window. It's like, okay. So I go home, and I just look at Keith. I was like, I think it's time, baby. I got to just shave it. So we went in the middle bathroom, and, you know, at the time I was doing a lot more videoing and documenting and pictures and sharing, and it definitely helped me get through it to put it out there and let people know what I was going through. And so I put up a video, and he was shaving my head. And the video is not even that great because I wasn't expecting him to just stop. And he just took his hat off and just shaved his own head. And I didn't expect him to do that. So he literally kept his head shaved while I didn't have any hair.
That's so sweet. What a good man. It really is a good man.
He's a good man. I am
Really
really
good
very
man.
blessed and very lucky. And yeah, he did. He just turned it right on himself. And I did get that on a video, and the video is kind of shaking all over the place. But, you know, so it's things like that. I look back and it's like, man, he really had my back. And, you know, it's just good to have like a support system. It's just really good to have that, or just people that just support you, because it's
That's
a really
huge.
tough time. You know, so I literally be here, think all day, just like touching base on so many aspects of the journey.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Nicole Campbell.
Plaza Cadillac offers you the luxury of choice. Come test drive the all-new Optic with standard all-wheel drive, 300 horsepower, and over 300 miles of electric range, starting from only $44,890. Enjoy 0.9% APR for 60 months on our best-selling Lyric EV, or take advantage of $1,500 savings and 4.4% APR on our fantastic lineup of gas SUVs and sedans. Plaza Cadillac in Leesburg. Our drive to be the best starts with you.
Welcome back to the Style Podcast. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Disability Consultants and Lake Center Homecare, as well as our presenting sponsors, Plaza Lincoln and Plaza Cadillac. Today, joining us again is Nicole Campbell. We want to jump right back into your amazing story. We also want to say that we're not telling people not to seek professional medical advice. We're just saying this is what worked for you and this is what your journey was.
Absolutely.
But I also want to put in there that you don't always have to go with the first medical professional you speak to either.
Sure.
Always get multiple opinions.
And don't be afraid
And
to
stand
be
up for yourself.
An advocate for yourself.
Yes.
You've got to ask questions and listen to what is happening in you.
Exactly. And I think that like if there's anything anybody can take from this, it's like take the fear out of the equation.
Yes.
Right? Because for me, when we high-fived and I was like, oh, cool, like this is going to be great. Let's go surgery first. Let's go from there. It really took the fear out of the situation. I knew that the cancer hadn't spread past my breast. I knew that it wasn't in my lymph nodes. I was such an early stage, right? So like it threw me when I got thrown in a room with this guy with these little beady eyes, and I'll never forget it. He's like, it takes that one little cell, Nicole, to go to your brain. And I was just like, what just happened?
And then that instills something, which I'm a big believer in mindset too. So the power of the mind's unbelievable.
I was
and
so
if you
beat down.
if you beat someone down and instill so much fear in them, your greatest fears will come to fruition if that's all you're constantly worrying about, instead of worrying about you getting healthy and getting rid of
Absolutely.
cancer.
And, you know, I think chemo has its place. I think some people are so advanced with their disease that they need chemo to stop the disease. But my want is to, okay, well, that's fine. If we're going to do all pharmaceutical, it doesn't work. We need to add in the nutraceutical aspect of our healing as well. So the body has to, it's just by design for me. Like when I walked in there, it was like all like chemo and this, that, and the other. But okay, well, what can we do to support your body or maybe find out what's going on, right? So there was no root cause therapy, even in my questions when I asked them. So there was still a lot of things that just never got answered for me, which was a concerning red flag as well. So, you know, so that would be my hope for anybody listening to this who is fighting cancer or going through a cancer diagnosis is to really just listen to your body. Don't just throw your hands up at the doctor. Know what questions you want to go in and ask, and then seek the advice on how can I, research metabolic functioning in the body. You know, it all really comes back to the cell and what does the cell need. So it's like that biology class in high school and like, where you label the cell.
Yes.
You're like, it's bigger than what it was, because it has a lot to do with healing too. So
It's at the root of it.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about your diet and how that changed. Like, where in your process did you say, okay, let me change all of this?
So believe it or not, it didn't happen right away. That kind of happened. Okay, so after the surgery, of course, everything came back and they're like, okay, you have to do the chemotherapy. And it was going to be 8 treatments over the course of 2 months. So it was every 2 weeks I had to go in for chemotherapy. When I was set up for that, and they do like this educational class where they're like going to teach you about like what to expect, and that's still, it's super inconsistent. Like honestly, like if you went from one breast cancer or any cancer survivor to another, when they are put forward that educational, like they don't know what they're saying, honestly. And I'm not saying that the nurse I had was bad or whatever, but they just really don't know how to tell people how to eat. Like you hear one thing and then don't do that, do another. So you just don't know. I knew that I needed to eat well. I cut out alcohol. I tried to stick to more whole foods, but I was still eating processed foods because I didn't really think they were that bad for me. So it was during that time I kind of learned more about how omega-6 is super high in our diets nowadays. So it's in all of like the seed oils, processed foods. So a lot of us are eating diets that are so rich in omega-6, which is super inflammatory.
And inflammation is such a root cause of
A root cause of everything. So if your gut is all inflamed, nothing's running right in your body. So a lot of that can be just, so I learned that going through that, and I was like, well, that's kind of concerning or interesting. I want to learn more about that. So I started becoming more of a nerd about like diet and nutrition. I think walking away from my cancer, the chemotherapy more so, but it really didn't hit me until about last year when my whole adrenal system just shut down, because going through chemotherapy put me through early menopause, which left me feeling horrible. Like that to me was just so horrible, trying to learn. So I obviously wasn't, my system wasn't well, right? So that kind of led me down this path of, so maybe about, I want to say December of last year, I actually cut out all processed foods. So all whole food eating, I'm pretty
What does that look
basic.
like? Just, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
curious.
You
What
go to
is
the
a whole,
grocery store, what does that look
or what
like?
does a meal look like?
Shopping the perimeter of the store. So
Always the
fruits,
perimeter.
vegetables, lean meats, high omega-3 meats like your salmon. I eat that. I try to eat it like once a week. We're not perfect, but we just try to. Like if I go out, I'm eating like chicken and vegetables, and if I do a snack, it's like dates and peanut butter. So some of my stuff is still processed, but I try to not do like the protein bars because they're so high in omega-6 because of what they use.
Seed oils have really come to light recently,
They have, yeah.
and the negative impact they can have.
Yes. Yeah. Like they're super inflammatory because when you eat corn or whatever, that part of the plant, you don't generally get that much of the oil out of it. So when they do like a condensed load of that oil, it's too much for our system to handle. That makes sense. So it's just not good. So yeah, the hormones just never really came back. So I actually see a specialist to help me with bioidentical hormone replacement therapy because I'm 44 years old and I'm not ready to, feel that bad. So I've been working through and learning more about how hormone health is so important to our health and that it's beneficial. And sometimes if we don't have enough good hormones in the body, there are bad hormones that take over and that could feed things such as cancer. So learning that estrogen isn't just a one hormone, it's actually many hormones. So there's like good estrogens and there's bad estrogens.
Well, let me ask you this, because I've recently heard this. So like we said, we know the sun's important, and vitamin D is so important. I've been reading recently, though, in some things, it's actually a hormone,
It is, yeah.
not a supplement. Like you can supplement all day long, but it's not going to work if you're not actually out there letting the sun synthesize. So vitamin D technically is a hormone.
And actually, vitamin D, sunlight, and cholesterol actually go hand in hand.
And cholesterol's really not bad for you, friends. It's not.
It's really not. So all that's coming to light, and it's just, our brain feeds off cholesterol.
Yes.
Like it's made from cholesterol. And if
I
you
can sit here and
starve
talk
the
to
brain,
her all day long.
I'm telling you, it's in me to do so. Like I am just so full of it. Like people sit in my chair and they don't realize that I'm just going to be like, and they're, whoa.
Well, because I know, growing up, I know my dad's always had high cholesterol.
Yeah.
Which again, if you look
I
at,
have high cholesterol.
if
She hears it from me.
if you look at the scale, it's been changed over the years. They keep lowering it. Well, if you also look when she says brain feeds, it needs cholesterol. Let's look at I'm not a medical professional, but I can read and I'm highly intelligent. I do say myself. We've seen Alzheimer's and dementia drastically increase. And my dad's been on, was put on a statin when I was probably in middle school. And you need cholesterol. Your body can't function without it. So you keep lowering it and it messes all these other things up.
Yeah. Just like people using margarine in place of real butter.
Exactly.
That's a real problem. And that it's just the science shows that in the studies that people are getting sicker and sicker, right? So something's got to change. Somebody's got to speak up and do something
It's
about
especially in our country too, because a lot of other countries do things very differently. Like in Italy, they eat the pasta, they eat the stuff.
Sure.
It's not the same pasta.
It's not the same. Yeah, so, another thing that's super concerning in diet and nutrition was learning about how heavily processed our refined grains are with glyphosate and how glyphosate kills the gut, right? So it's by design. It's actually in the wheat, corn, soy, whatever they spray it down with. You can't bake it out. You can't wash it off. Like it's in there. It's in the actual food. So when you eat it, it kills and destroys the gut. People don't know that. But if you were to test people or these kids on like glyphosate levels, I would be really concerned to see what that would be like. But that's another thing that's come up. So like little by little, it's like I prayed for direction in learning, okay, look, there's a whole lot out there and it's super overwhelming. I really want to just find out what can I do to live my best life, to feel better and to lead a cancer-free life and maybe help other people down the road. And so little by little, I just come across all this great information, and it's so, it's a lot.
I'm gonna go buy some organic apples when we leave.
We're going to take another quick break. We'll be back in just a moment.
Drive home your new Lincoln during our summer invitation event. Enjoy 0% for 48 months and 2 years free maintenance on our large selection of 25 Corsair, Nautilus, and Aviator. Or take $5,000 off remaining 24 Nautilus. Stop in today to see the all-new 25 Navigator, completely redesigned with our most luxurious interior ever, featuring a 48-inch curved display and 24-way massaging seats. Plaza Lincoln in Leesburg, across from the airport. Our drive to be the best starts with you.
Welcome back to our Style Podcast. We'd like to thank our presenting sponsors, Plaza Cadillac and Plaza Lincoln. We are so thrilled to be continuing
love
our
talking to you.
conversation with you, Nicole. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We've talked about your journey, but we want to know a little bit about you.
Well,
And I'm sure it's shaped you as to who you are now. But you're
I'm
not
a
just a
totally
cancer
different
survivor. You're so much more. You're
Sure.
a very successful hairstylist on your own salon, and
Yes.
you're a mom.
I'm a mom. I've got 2 boys, Alex and Ethan. Alex is 21, and Ethan
I can't
is.
believe they're that old now. Our babies, our
16.
oldest, graduated together. That's
Yes.
so crazy. It
Isn't that
happened
crazy?
too fast.
Oh, so fast. And that's the thing I've learned about life. Like, it happens so fast. So you really have to learn to live in the moment and, just take it in as it comes. And it's not an easy thing to do when life is happening fast and moving fast. And, it's really focusing on what's most important and trying to not get caught up in the things that aren't as important. So
So tell us a little bit about your salon.
So I just opened a salon with my husband. He is my partner, and he doesn't do hair. So everybody's like, well, he doesn't do hair. How can he be your partner? He's a fantastic partner because he supports me in everything I do.
Which is amazing.
And he's amazing. He is very, very gifted artist. So he helped me put the inside together. Cool. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's everything I could have ever asked for. So stepping away from a salon that I was with for 17 years, and I had a lot of great memories there, and it shaped me into a great stylist. I had a lot of fun with that. So when I was presented with an opportunity to buy this building, I saw it was for sale. I grew up in Fruitland Park, so I knew that little building was a salon. Back in 1990, it was built to be a salon. So in 2014, the lady I bought it from purchased it and turned it into like this home decor. She painted it lime green and hot pink.
Yeah.
And the poor building. And finally, I guess, was looking to sell it. And I kept driving by it. And I'm like, that poor little building. I hope somebody buys it and turns it into something really beautiful. And then I drove by it and I was thinking, if somebody else buys that and turns it into a salon and I didn't even try, I'm going to be so mad at myself. Like, I'm going to drive by there, like, just.
Right.
So I did. I contacted my good friend Krista Moffett, and it's like as soon as we touched the domino, it all just bloop, and it just happened. And Michael's was so good to me by letting me work there while I was getting it together. And let's see, where are we at now? When did I open that place?
It's been a little hot minute.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. So we're working on our 2nd year, and I have 4 incredible stylists that work with me, and it's just such a great atmosphere. So I love that. So I think that it's been a lot of good in my healing and becoming who I am today, because walking through, the chemotherapy, it burnt me to the ground. Like, when I mean, like, you could just come out of, like, can barely put myself together, it's a whole lot to, you'll see a lot of like cancer survivors really have a hard time getting out of that because they're still locked by fear. So, growing, I say it's like I kind of rose up like a phoenix, because it's literally you kind of sift through the ashes to kind of find yourself again and put yourself back together. And so for me, doing hair has always been that central part of, finding myself again. And and I think I love making people feel better by the way they look. Why not help them to feel better by eating better or sharing my story and just some of the truths that I've learned about, our bodies and how we're designed to heal. You cut yourself, you heal every single time. Your body knows how to heal, right? So it's kind of giving the power back to your body and helping her to feel better. And so, yeah, with all that being said, that's kind of where I'm at right now with my journey. And, I just kind of see it blossoming for, just to become even better and bigger. So I'm
Do
excited
you have
for that.
anything that I'm a big believer in speaking our truth, and I truly believe you can create and shape your own reality. So you can create things, and God gave us a great mind, a great power. So what are some things that you want to see happen that in your life moving forward?
I'm super interested in learning, maybe becoming a health coach or being in a position where I can help people heal naturally from any disease. Just tapping into what our body's designed to do. Just learning more about how the body works. I think that, I'm 44. I really didn't know that my gut was it's like
the center, and it's the center of so much depression, all kinds of things. I could see you being a medical advocate too.
Yeah, so
like an advocate for someone that wanted to try something different but is too scared to stand up for themselves.
It is, and I think that if I could just take the fear out of the situation and just help people to heal, I think that would be a really big win for us.
Yes.
And
just talking to you gives us hope that if this happens to us or someone else that we know, that there's an option. Because
There is an
and you're
option.
so
Yeah.
much more than cancer. You're so much more than what happened to you.
Sure.
You've got this amazing, wonderful life and an amazing, wonderful story that you can share, and that you did go through it and survived, and for a reason you can help everybody
thriving.
else. You're thriving.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not just surviving. You're not
Yeah,
just a
you're
cancer
thriving.
survivor.
Yeah.
You're a thriver. You're making
I
it.
don't have it completely unpacked yet, and I think that's just life in general. But
That's all of us.
Oh Lord, but so it's just like in some days it's it's a little harder. It's just learning to just keep the good foot forward in any situation. And I think that I also want to add in that is just having a super positive outlook. And I remember the very first thing that hit my head when I got the message was when my doctor called me. I was seeing Dr. Lauren Britt, and she was great when she was here. And
Oh yeah, my daughter used to babysit for them. We miss
I
them.
miss her too. And she called me with the news. And I honestly didn't think it was going to be cancer. I was like, there's no way, I'm good. And I was kind of getting ready that day. I was not even bogged down by worry for a second. And when she called me and I heard that, hey, I was like, oh man. I was like, all right, I'm going to sit down. What's up? And she's like, it's cancer, And the very first thing that hit me, the very first thought I had was, that's it, I'm done. It's everywhere. Your very first thought is I'm done.
That's what we're predisposed just to go to worst case.
Yeah, worst case. But then once the dust kind of settled and I was sitting there and my in-laws came over, my husband was there, and all of this, God didn't give you this beautiful life to take you out of it. So, it just, now I can look back and it's I go back to the very first, and I'm kind of going back through it, and I comb through it. And then I'm just okay, well, what can I share out of that journey that can at least help somebody navigate? Because that was it. For them, chemo right now, right? But chemo right now can later on not be so good for me. You know what I mean? If I was advanced disease, I don't know. So once again, I tell everybody to do their own research on everything. I just kind of share my story and how it impacted me, and hopefully they can take from that and navigate. And I'm always here. I'm an open book. I talk about everything. So I'm not worried about, not sharing something, because I think it helps me to heal too.
Oh, of course.
And so yeah, that would be definitely something I would leave out there in the world, that, I'm definitely moving forward, learning more, sharing more. That's not going to end. So I just hope that it's received well, and that, people find a way to heal, because we all just need to heal and, get back outside a little bit more
I think this
feet
is
in the
a
grass.
chapter in your book. You have a lot more to write. You have a lot more amazing chapters to go.
This is a
In your-
great opportunity.
And by the way, you look amazing doing
Yes,
it. That
you do.
hat is,
Yeah, I love the hat.
I love it. Very love it. Love it.
The hat started when I was diagnosed. The hat, I said, what do I have to lose? I'm going to be bald anyways.
Right.
So I put on a hat and I rocked them ever since. So
love
I'm
it.
telling you what, and I rocked my hair. I didn't wear wigs. I pretty much rocked the bald. It was like,
You wore it very well, though.
it was
Yeah.
just, I didn't feel right in a wig.
I heard they're really hot, too.
Very hot and itchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we would love to have you back when you get further into it. Maybe when you hit your next milestone of something, we would love to have
Yeah.
you back and talk
And
about
I drive by your salon all the time, so I'm
Yeah.
going to stop and come in and say hi
I
now
love
because
that.
I watched the transformation as you
Yeah.
turned it back into the salon. So that's amazing.
And
It's
I'm
a
proud of
great
you. I am
Yes.
so
It's
proud
a
of you
really
for standing
cool
up for
place.
yourself. I think that's such a big
Yeah,
deal.
that
It's
is.
a big deal. It's a big deal. So I think that's it. Like, people think that they don't have a say in the matter, but we do, right? And that doesn't mean to go in and I'm not doing this, or not accept. Go in and listen to what they have to say. Go home and pray about it. There was so much to say for how my spiritual journey grew through that time, because I just kind of would sit there in a quiet room and just listen, just quiet.
Mm-hmm.
That would help me kind of take the emotion out of it. Just take the emotion, take
Once
the
you do
fear
that,
out of it.
yeah.
It just opened up that path of, okay, and not to say I knew what I was doing at the time. When I look back, because there's a couple I wouldn't have done the chemo. Actually, looking back, I wouldn't have done it. There's a couple things that my grandmother went through breast cancer in 1981. She was my age. Genetically, I'm probably predisposed for it.
Mm-hmm.
But she had the surgery, had all of it taken out, refused chemo radiation, lived to be in her 80s.
Wow.
And my grandmother's a strong lady.
We know where you got it.
Yeah,
she
she's a
blazed the
strong
trail.
lady. So, I think that you could stick to your guns to a point. It's a give take for sure. But just take care of yourself, and that's what's just stay. What's the word I'm looking for? Just stay educated on how your body is designed to work, and it's
And how you feel. Listen to how you feel and,
how
what's
you
going
feel.
on with you.
Exactly.
Don't let fear override who you are, because
Exactly.
fear can be very scary. But if you can remove the emotion and take the fear out of it and just be,
Sure.
okay, let's think about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
It's good advice.
Well, thank you so much for being here today,
you.
Nicole. It was such a great
you.
conversation with you.
I'm so excited to be here and share my story.
I loved having you.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
And we'll see you next time on the Style Podcast.
Get all the Social Security disability benefits you deserve with disability consultant Jeff Bell. Our experienced Florida certified ADR handle claims on a contingency fee basis, meaning you don't pay unless we recover money for you. We have established a strong reputation as a firm that cares and provides the best care to its clients. Call us today or visit cbell.com.
Fixing my bra strap. She was amazing. That was amazing, and I really am not lying to you when I'm telling you I'm going to go to Publix and get me some organic apples for lunch.
I think she was great just to hear her story, and she's such an inspiration. And I think it's so important for people to say, don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't be afraid to make your own
yeah. And
decisions.
again,
say what you feel. What's
We work
going
in the
on with your
medical
body.
field. We understand the importance of traditional medicine, but we also, I think, the older we get, we've noticed or understand more the aspect of whole body and functional. And it's okay. A really good medical professional is okay with you questioning, and okay with you getting second, third, fourth opinions, whatever you need. So, I think we have to encourage people just to be advocates for themselves. We see people in our daily job too. When you don't have an advocate, or you can't be one for yourself.
Yeah, don't be afraid to speak up. If you're feeling something, figure it
Yes.
out. You know your body better than anybody else. You know
Yeah.
what's going to work for you. So I think that's the one takeaway from this, that we really need for people to advocate for themselves.
We do. I loved having her on. Would definitely need to have her on again.
Yeah, she was great.